honor to get in there. Cleve, when you see this guy, what goes through your mind?
Looking for the ball.
Who's looking for the ball? You are.
I am.
All right, and what do you think of him as a player and a guy?
Oh, great guy, great guy. We had one offense at St. Thomas More. Give Ernie the ball. That was
Ernie,
it.
what do you say? Anything? What do you say about this guy?
This guy was a warrior. He was a great rebounder, defensive player, and the big championship game he had 25, so he could score too.
'Mason here, South Windsor 71, Pete Egan, Northwest Catholic 71. Pete, do you want to relive that rivalry that we had in 71?
It was a great rivalry, but we lost, but I ended up with a good friend.
In 2017, Mike Copeland and I put out a book called Oh, What a Move. And it's a book about Hartford basketball. And in that book, we profile a number of the great players that played in Hartford during what we called the golden era of basketball. It was 1954 to 1984. Since we put it out, we kept getting asked, well, when are you going to come out with the next edition of it? So I'm happy to say that we now have Oh, What a Move 2.
I always respected the history of public basketball. I mean, I always have. Of course, Mr. Tolliver, I played against his Weavers team in high school, and Mr. Waterman was my JV coach. And Mr. Griffin was my elementary school gym teacher, which I did not know until I got to high school. Middle school, that he was an excellent, like he was a legend. He was a legend.
I'll tell you, what influenced me in Hartford back in the day was my older brother, Owen. He was bad boy, Big O. Everybody knew who he was. And I tell you, his foundation right there helped me, inspired me, I guess, to play a little extra basketball.
Hartford hoops for myself got me out of the north end of Hartford. And I played high school basketball for Hartford Public High School. And at that time, we was very competitive. If I hadn't went to Hartford Public High School under Coach John Kyler, I don't think I would have graduated from Hartford Public High School. And my connection from Hartford Public High School got me to Johnson & Wales University. And that most likely saved my life and future.
Kenny Park was the park where everybody used to go to.
That was a central location where all the ball players within the city can come in, and it was one court. And you had to be at a certain level to play in Kenny Park. So, you had the north end, south end, the west end, ball players coming there and playing that one court. They had the shade. That was the only court in Hartford that had shade on. Always was cool. It'd be 100 degrees outside the city, outside the park, but cool in Kenny Park.
But where I really got my roots was at Rawson. What makes me cherish Hartford sports is that there was a lot of guys that, like Spider Bennett, would be playing up at Rawson, or Cleve Royster. Guys like Rufus Oaten, guys that played on my brother's team back in the day at Weaver High School, and they won the state championship. That always inspired me. I'm a Weaver Beaver for life.
When I was, say 10 years old, my neighbor and I'm from the projects of Bellevue Square. Even during the wintertime, my neighbor and I would shovel off the basketball court during the wintertime when it snowed. That's how I really started getting serious about basketball.
Do you remember the neighbor? Who the neighbor?
Yeah, Howard Jefferson. We stayed in the same building. I was on the first floor, he was on the top floor.
So what was basketball to you at that?
Well, what I realized was, if I want to have a halfway decent life financially, You got to go to college, you got to graduate from college, and that will open up doors for you.
Basketball players and different figures come together and reminisce. That's worth more than money. So it was just something that I always dreamed about, and I'm glad that I was a part of something that was very special of bringing people together.
This is for you. Wish you were here. This is all about Connecticut All-Stars, and you are an All-Star, and wish you were here along with all the other players. See you soon. Hope you're doing well.
1972, we played Wilbur Cross in the semifinals.
What class?
1972.
Yeah, but division
Double L. They were the #1 team in the country.
Right. Jiggy Williamson.
Yes. No, Mickey Hurd, Jiggy Williamson, Roland Jones, Jiggy, and Super Juniors, and Powell.
Yeah.
And I had a career game. We almost beat them.
What kind of career game?
Well, we were up 20 points in the fourth quarter against Wilbur Cross.
And what was the final score?
They beat us by 2 points in overtime. And they went on the B Hill House in the finals.
All right. Tell me something real quick about your brother, Calvin Murphy.
Probably one of the greatest players ever to come out of Connecticut. They beat South Catholic in 1966.
And he scored 60 points,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I was there.
An incredible period. In those days, the Catholic schools were the Hartford County Conference, and the competition was fierce. And in particular, I went to South Catholic, and our big rival was East Catholic, and Northwest Catholic was right up there too. But the games are so intense that they could not play in respective schools' gyms. They had to play at either University of Hartford or Central. And to be a kid in those days and to play in front of literally 5,000 people was beyond thrilling.
I had the pleasure of playing with Howie, meeting Howie in the late 70s, and I can't even put into words the impact he's had in my life, the short time that I knew him right out of college and played softball with him a few years and then ran into him through basketball circles many, many times. Friend for life.
My thoughts about Johnny Egan, he was Michael Jordan before Michael Jordan. He was unique, particularly for that time period. Certainly he was unique in New England, but we played around the country. And Egan's ability to stay focused, to leave the ground and stay up there before the defenders couldn't remain with him and drop. And somehow he was so athletic. He was like a gymnast in the air, and somehow would manage to get to the basket and make an impossible shot.
I was a big Ernie fan. He had imagination. He had what the great ones do have, and that is vision. He could see something before it happened. And you always talk about Bird and the other great players, Magic, and he had that, and he was just a special player. As I said to people, he was worth the show, and he had pizzazz to him.
interest and passion for hoop start?
I used to go to all the parks. And when I went to the parks, I used to go follow the games that were being played. Because they would have a number of games playing during the week. So I used to go to the games when I wasn't old enough to play. And I used to sit on the sidelines watching them play. And then the older guys would be playing and they would have 8 or 9 guys. I would get a chance to play with them.
Do you remember how old you were for that?
I probably was about 12. I was always competitive. That was just something that I developed while being around the house with family members and whatnot. I was always competitive, whatever I did.